Today's movie is Frailty, a great movie. I think it's a masterpiece, in my opinion. Really impressive directorial debut from Bill Paxton, the actor, who also, of course, stars in the movie. Uh, One of the best horror movies of the last few years. And yeah, maybe you can sort of debate back and forth whether or not it qualifies as a horror movie, but I mean, you know, come on, it's about a motherfucker who kills people with an axe. Um, this were made in the 70s. I don't think there'd be no second thought about it. It's a horror movie. Um, really, kind of underrated movie, I think. And just so unexpected, like Bill Paxton. He's one of our great actors, I think. Well, like he's not like Laurence Olivier or whatever, but he's always kind of an actor you like to see in movies. Whether he shows up in like a James Cameron movie, like the punk in Aliens, or the punk in Terminator, or her the cowardly Marine in Aliens, or the cowardly douchebag who pretends to be a secret agent but really isn't in True Lies, or just anything. I can name like a million movies. The brother in Weird Science when he turns into that disgusting monster. Um, Near Dark. I could just list Bill Paxton movies. Twister, another great one. Titanic. A million great movies Bill Paxton's been in. Anyway, that's besides the point. But the point is, I mean, when it comes to Bill Paxton, like always when like an actor decides to direct a movie, um, sometimes it'll be like really kind of, I don't know, just material that you'd expect them to direct. You know what I mean? Or like really ambitious kind of things, like Clint Eastwood. He'll always do these great awards-worthy movies and stuff like that. And even like Kevin Costner again doing Dances with Wolves. Having a background in Western movies, somewhat, and that makes sense. But Bill Paxton doing Frailty, this kind of soft-spoken, chilling, creepy as hell, little horror movie about a father who uh, is raising two sons on his own. The mother died, and he believes that an angel is telling him that he has to kill these demons, which are in human form. Uh, Clear-cut case for obvious mental problems. But what this movie plays with in a really clever way is, okay, what's supernatural about this? What is otherworldly? And it's framed really nicely. Like the movie mainly it stars Matthew McConaughey, who's also great in the movie. Matthew McConaughey, when he's not doing romantic comedies, and I'm not gonna uh, shame him for romantic comedies, you know, Failure to Launch, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, whatever. I mean, he's good at it. Doing his Matthew McConaughey thing. Like, okay, all right, yeah. But that's my horrible Matthew McConaughey impression. But when he does drama, he is really good, and I think that's kind of what he's been proving with other movies as of late, like Killer Joe, and I haven't seen Mud, but I heard Mud was really good, and he'll do things like every now and again he did A Time to Kill, which I thought he was excellent in, but he gives a really good performance in this. Um, it's framed in modern times. The story with the father, it does take place in the past, a few decades and a half or 2 decades prior. He really sells it in the sense that you can kind of buy him, like, and see, like, the kind of like the sadness in his eyes of like a child who's pretty much abused, like emotionally abused by his father, and that's always a really touchy subject matter. These stories about fathers and sons and the effect they have, and just the impurity of their relationship, and how he pretty much forces his kid to kill people. Um, it's not a happy story, but it's just an endlessly intriguing movie with twists and turns around every corner. I mean, there's definitely a big twist at the end, which I don't want to give away in case you haven't seen it. But it is a really good twist. Not a mind-blowing M. Night Shyamalan, oh my god, shit your pants kind of twist, but it's a really good twist. that I think is a fair twist. I mean, you might argue that it's kind of a bait and switch, but it does make sense to the story, and it does kind of make sense on repeat viewings. And this is a movie that's really good to watch on repeat, because it does kind of make you think about the victims that the father chooses to kill. And that's another great thing about this movie, because Bill Paxton as the father, what he's so great in, what I love about that character that he does, is that he's not a maniac. He's not like a, Jack Nicholson in The Shining, I'm gonna get you, Andy. Nothing like that. He's like legitimately believes that, his delusions, or if they're not delusions, his visions, he believes they're real, and he doesn't want to kill people, and he feels bad about it, but he believes in his heart that they're not really people, that they're demons, and the horrible struggle. It's a really, really touchy movie. It's full of moral dilemmas, and it's a heavy kind of movie, actually. It's not just a run-of-the-mill slasher, which I like, but it does have the thrills of it, and it does have the darkness. I mean, it does almost kind of feel like, something Stephen King would do, and I think he's on the cover. He's on, like, every cover. He's like, oh, Stephen King, great, what does he say? Edge of Your Seat Entertainment says Stephen King. 2 thumbs up, Beaver and Roper. 4 stars, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's just something really understated that I liked about the movie, and it does have scary moments to it, and I do think it qualifies as a horror movie. I really do think it is, because it taps into not just possibly supernatural kind of horror, but into very human horror, which is something that I think is very scary and very real. I mean, yes, this is about someone who kills random people, seemingly, in the name of religion. That's a reality. You see that on the news every day, people killing people over religion, but this is kind of like obviously a microcosm of it, telling a little story, but it kind of makes you think about that kind of stuff by seeing it in a smaller level. You think about it on a bigger level, because he's a loving father. He's doing what he thinks is right because a higher authority told him to do that, and that's kind of heavy. But Bill Paxton, brilliant in the movie. Matthew McConaughey, again, brilliant in the movie. They're both great. Also, J.T. Walsh, great character actor, who is in every movie ever made. He's great as the sheriff in the modern day scenes. I honestly, just an extremely, extremely impressive directorial debut from Bill Paxton. I don't think he's done a movie since, but the fact that, of any movie, like, I'm sure it's Bill Paxton. He was in Titanic. I'm sure he makes good money. Knows a lot of people, producers, whatever. The fact that he would choose a movie like this to do, I think that it always says a lot about, the person who makes the movie. So I think this was kind of a story that, must have spoke to him in some kind of way, must have chilled him in some kind of way, that he felt was worth telling. So that's, something that speaks a lot about the artist behind the film, and that he'd act in it too. I'm just really impressed with his work in this movie, and again, Matthew McConaughey too. The writing is great, very moody movie. No, like, specifically impressive, like, flashy camera work or anything like that, but it's subtle, and it does set the atmosphere very well. There is some good camera work in the movie, and it makes it feel kind of like it would be like a 70s kind of movie, one of the lower key movies that you don't see a lot of. Like, again, kind of like modern horror movies were just assaulted with so much stuff, like so much false kind of titillations that were just like, expected to respond to. Like, a cat jumps out of the alleyway, a big cue of music goes dun-dun-dun, and then we're supposed to, oh, that was scary, oh, I'm so scared, I don't know. But this, it kind of takes its time. It's very, a slow kind of movie, but it makes you think, and it chills you in your soul, which is not something a lot of movies can do. I mean, I'd compare it to a similar effect that, something like The Exorcist would have on you. Like, it does, bring it to religion. Religion's a very delicate thing that, means a lot of things to a lot of different people and nothing to other people. But you can't, make, a judgment on somebody who really, really believes in it, because that's kind of what this whole movie is about. Anyway, my camera's being weird, so I'll finish this review up. Pretty much at 10 minutes anyway, so I wanted to keep these short. So I've been rambling on a little bit, but anyway, I'll summarize. Frailty. It's a great movie, kind of an underrated gem, in my opinion. A great horror film, a great psychological horror film, great themes of religion and of relationships between fathers and sons, and just a really creepy, good movie. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching.